Strictly speaking, the term feminism actually enters our vocabulary around the second or third decade of the 20th century. So the context of the 19th century is broadly the social reform period. Raja Ram Mohan Roy and all these figures, men mainly, took on what were thought of as social evils: sati, widowhood, child marriage, female infanticide. In fact, it was the British who often pointed out how backward we were. Sometimes, of course, is very hypocritical because they didn't have any good laws for women in their time. But nonetheless, it was part of their quote-unquote civilizing mission. By the end of the 19th century, imagine a situation where, on the one hand, you have a national movement telling the British to leave. And on the other hand, you have people petitioning the very same British state saying, we want to raise the age of marriage of our girls, we want to make female infanticide a crime, and so on and so on. So these nationalists told the reformers this is not the time to be going in for reform. But more interestingly, what they also said was, we need to have symbols. We need cultural symbols of the nation that is uncolonized. And where did they go for one of their most active, most potent cultural symbols? No surprises here. It was women. So they thought of the woman, the Hindu woman in the home, who was not to be seen outside, who hadn't sort of fallen afoul or been subjected by British rule. The women were pure. They would be the right kind of symbols of the new nation. This woman as bearer of Indian culture was a very patriarchal construct. Nationalists, for instance, were praising child marriage, saying it's a wonderful Indian custom. You can imagine the kind of fraught relationship, the kind of tense relationship that would result when women want to continue to petition the British state, saying we want to raise the age of marriage. We don't think it's a wonderful Indian custom, which is what these early social reformers, these women did. This is why when feminism becomes the name of the women's movement, feminists are frequently accused of betraying the nation, of not being Indian enough, because they thought it was somehow associated with being Western. And to be a good Indian woman was to be non-Western in terms of what made for this very interesting, peculiar, and somewhat unique to India kind of relationship between feminism, Indian culture, and the nation.